time agote ki koisilu ke rate of change er kotha koisilu. Do you remember? Hello. মনত পৰে নে? Do you remember rate of change?
But rate of change কিহৰ মানে ৰেসপেক্টিভত
সেইটোৱে আমি rate of change আমি এনেকে পঢ়া মনত পৰিছে নে? Change of y with respect to change in x, right? Okay, you remember that? Fine. So this change is fathomable, or this is comprehensible change. So when you take like a graph, what did we say? So change in y by change in x gives you the slope, right? This thing. Okay. So let's say you are at 0.0, and then you move to 0.1, 1. So what is the rate of change of y with respect to x? It is there. How much y changed? How much y changed? 1. Y changed from 0 to 1, so it is 1. How much x changed? 1 minus 0. And how much x changed? Also 1 minus 0, right? So if it would have been some other number, let's say if it would have been this point, 2,3, and it is 4,6. Okay. So how will you find the rate of change in this case? So here the rate of change is this, right? Wait. Here the rate of change is
2.
Here the rate of change is this
2
and this.
by 3.
Right? So
2 by
So how will it look like? It's not going to be 2 by 3. So what do you take? Rate of change of y with respect to x. So you would say the answer for rate of change of x with respect to y. Fine. So
okay.
So it's going to look like, so rate of change of, so what is delta y here? 6 minus 3, right? Change in y. So y changed from 3 to 4, right? 3 to 6. Y changed from 3 to 6, and x changed from 2 to 4, isn't it? So 6 minus 3 and delta x, how much did it change? Delta x, how much did it change? 4 minus 2, right? So it dekhar kenuka hoye jabo 3 by 2. Fine. Now you're getting it. So this is, now you see the thing that this is pretty much discrete. You can see, you can comprehend it. Now let's change the game. Okay, now let's change the game. So now what changing the game means, let's say delta y tends to 0. What does that mean? Delta y tends to 0. Junto limit koisilu janeke. Right. So this is when delta y tends to 0 means delta y is very small, almost like near to 0, but not 0, because you know 0 means nothing. 0 means there is nothing in quantity. But if there is something 0.1, 0.00001, it is something, right? Okay. So when delta y changes to 0 and delta x changes to 0, so we have seen right now previously, like in our previous slides, what did we see? I mean, agar slide আমি কি দেখিছিলো? এইটো slide আমি কি দেখিছিলো? যেনেকাকে তোমাৰ ডাঙৰ বস্তুটো, right? ডাঙৰ বস্তুটো সৰু 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 হৈ গৈ থাকে, it starts to show different characteristics, right? Isn't it? It starts to show different characteristics. So similarly, when this change in y and this change in x, or when a change in a number is limited or is like made very small, very minuscule, ekdam horu in the smallest. Fine. As I said, in physics we call the smallest comprehensible unit as quanta, right? So here so here we use a denotion. We use that square started looking like a circle. So when this will tend to 0, we also must denote this delta y with some different symbol, right? I don't know. But makes sense? মানে you see এটু বস্তু চোৱা মই নাই ৰবা গ্ৰীনত আছিলো ৰাইট so এইটো চোৱা এই ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলটো আছে এই ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলটো মই আৰু সৰু কৰিলো এই ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলটো আৰু সৰু কৰিলো গম পাইছা সৰু কৰি পিছত এই ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলটো অলমোস্ট দেখাত কেনেকুৱা যায় এটা পইণ্ট হৈ যাব নে আৰে নাই তুমি দেখাত এইটো ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলে হৈ থাকিব বাট এইটো ট্ৰায়াঙ্গেলটো তুমি যেতিয়া সৰু কৰি গৈ থাকিবা right the triangle to dekha dot hoye jabo ne so, right there is this triangle then this there's still a triangle there but it's looking like a point I don't know characteristic changes when you like go microscopically okay microscopically jeta tumi goi thaka characteristic bur tomar bodli goi thake isn't it so heitur karone so delta আমি আগতে কি কৈছিলো a change to let me just take a different color so this change we called it delta y right we denoted by a delta isn't it change fine so but when the change is very smaller we can see that this triangle started looking like a circle so characteristics starting to change even though these are the same thing it's again a triangle on a microscopic level so heter karne we thought about like mathematicians started to think about okay why don't we bring a new denotion right there must be a separation right if we denote a comprehensible line as change as delta y and an uncomprehensible change right but it is a change though I don't know this triangle to jonto jeta horu hoye goi ase ইয়াতেও তুমি ডাঙৰকে যদি চোৱা এটুক যদি এনলাৰ্জ কৰে পিংক পাৰ্টটো then that part is also a triangle only right isn't it and hey triangle ৰ এই পাৰ্টটো delta y হয় isn't it it's changing y হয় but a part2 looks like a small dot right so it is isn't it so that's very small so we thought let's differentiate them so we brought a new denotion which we give as delta y okay or you call it as dy ठीक है you call it as dy small dy or you can call this as dx so as in physics you call the smallest comprehensible object at the microscopical level the smallest which is comprehensible to human eye not the naked human eye maybe but like we can comprehend it still so that is known as a quanta so similarly the smallest comprehensible unit in computers or in a computer screen is known as a pixel right so and again mathematics the smallest comprehensible unit is known or smallest comprehensible change is known as delta y okay fine good enough
but more
কি কথা আছে
delta y tends to 0 হেতু বুজিলো মই but delta x to tend to 0 কি হ'ব লাগে হেতু তো আমি তো ডাইরেক্ট 0 হ'ব পাৰছুন
না আরে delta x তো যখন 0 কৰিলে এখন একো চেঞ্জই নহব are you getting it delta x তেতিয়া একো রিলেশন নাথাকিব যদি x চেঞ্জই হোৱা নাই যদি x চেঞ্জই হোৱা নাই তে delta y is indeterminate হৈ গল ন delta x যদি 0 পুট কৰি দিও so see mathematical formula wise if I put delta x to be 0 at the denominator then it is it's not defined or it's it's indeterminate right so why it is indeterminate because then you don't know about x or y মাজত তুমি একো রিলেশন ক'ব নোৱাৰিবা are you getting it
okay
y change হ'ব পাৰে নহ'ব পাৰে x change হৈছে নে we don't know they're dependent or independent fine so delta x যদি 0 হয় তেতিয়ালে we can't say anything it's indeterminate about the change in y fine so therefore we take so basically the idea is what না আগতে নহয় দেখাইছো delta x to যোনটো আছিলে this is unitary method only right আমি যে rate of change কৰো কি কৰো যদি এটা মানে এটা one apple is eaten by 1%, then how many apples will be eaten by 4%?
4.
So it's 4 apples, right? So what is the rate of change? You can so it's like that unitary method. How do you find this? So now if they say you 4 apples are eaten by 3 men, then 5 apples will be eaten by what do you write here? We write here 5 into 3 by 4 you write, right? I don't know. Right? 3 by 4 kora na 4 by 3 koriba?
3 by 4 এ
কিমান মানুহে 5টা আপেল খাব? 5টা আপেল তোমাৰ কিমানটা মানুহে খাব? যদি 4টা আপেল 3টা মানুহে খায় তে 5টা আপেল কিমান মানুহে খাব?
5 into 3 by 4 হবো.
Yes, fine, good. No confusion. Okay? So this is going to be your answer, right? So this unitary method kind of a thing. So the same thing we do. Rate of change is what? Rate of change is how much of y has changed. How much of y has changed when x changes by 1 unit. Okay? When x changes by 1 unit. Right? So if x is a very small unit, so y becomes larger and larger, isn't it? If x becomes jeneke moi koisu ওপৰত বুলে 4 আছে আৰু তলত 0.2 আছে তো rate of change বাঢ়ি গল নে নগল এটো what will be the rate of change? It's going to be 20, right? Isn't it? It's going to be 20. But if the bottom is larger, fine, if this bottom changes faster, it's 20, then it's going to be what? It's going to be 0.2. I don't know. So it's the rate of change. So rate of change is something like that. So if the bottom is larger than 1, so the rate of change gets like if the bottom number is larger specifically, so then the rate of change is smaller. And when the bottom change is very small, the rate of change is large. Okay? Fine? But now, what happens in this reality, when the smallest part when we come into, we want to know how much of y changes when x changes very small. So what happens here? 4 divided by 20, 4 divided by 0.2 gave you how much? 4 divided by 0.2 gave you 20, right? But 0.4 divided by 0.2 will give you 2 only, right?
2.
And 0.000004 divided by 0.00002 will also give you 2. I know, but those numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, almost tending to 0, right? So they almost become tending to dy and dx. So can you see the rate of change can also be denoted by delta dy by dx? Isn't it? Since this larger fathomable thing is also 2, smaller is also 2.
Yes.
I know. So we can denote that by dy by dx also. dy by dx larger bostu enuka bostu koro, but we mostly look into it as in a continuous manner. Right? Continuous objects product. Kyo dy by dx itya moi kom why dy by dx is important is because until now you just saw in our you saw in our graph it is into graph it's a linear line, right? Straight line hoy to then it's a straight line. The straight line to me rate of change easily to me dekha pai thaka, isn't it? Right? Slope doesn't changes, right? Slope same thake, but why these derivatives became so necessary in our lives?